Hello everyone and welcome to the full review of the Sony Xperia M. Let's go about the hardware specifications first. The phone features a 1 GHz dual-core Cryth-based Snapdragon processor with 1 GB of RAM and 4 GB of internal storage, which is expandable. On the left of the device, you have the micro USB data syncing and charging port. At the front, you have the 4-inch FWVGA display. At the top, the VGA camera, some sensors and the primary earpiece. At the bottom, you have the primary microphone. At the right, you have the aluminium power button, the volume rocker, and the dual stage camera key. The buttons are a bit hard to press. At the back, you have the primary camera with the single LED flash, the Sony branding, NFC tag. At the bottom, you have the main speakerphone and Xperia branding. At the top, you have the secondary microphone and the 3.5mm headphone jack. At the bottom, you have a space to put a lanyard in. Now, let's get over to the back cover again. The back cover has a very nice matte finish to it and looks very premium. So we'll go ahead and open the back cover. That's taking a bit of time. Alright, so we finally have the back cover open. The back cover is very solid. That's the NFC antenna right there. It doesn't flex and has a very nice feel about it. At the very top, you have the micro SIM card slot as well as the micro SD card slot. The battery compartment beneath it. At the top, you have the primary camera, the LED flash. At the bottom, the main speakerphone. Now let's put the back cover back on. The phone feels very sturdy, has a very solid feel, and the silver trim finish also looks very nice. Moving on. Now let's talk a bit about the network and call quality. The dialer has been customized according to the Xperia UI. We didn't face any issues with network or call quality. The other person on the line was able to hear us quite well, and there was no echo during the calls as well. Although there is one issue with the device, that we can't make 3G video calls for some reason. Now let's talk a bit about the camera interface. We'll have a separate camera review later on. On the left, you have several options including scene modes, flash as well as the settings. Now let's get into settings. You can change the default resolution, set the self timer, flash options as well as focus mode. At present, we have touch to focus enabled. There are several other options including metering, ISO modes, geotagging as well. You can totally customize your experience with this camera. Now let's get into, you can set the HDR mode on off as well. You can select between panorama and various scene modes as available. The camera interface is very nice, but we have seen that indoor photographs are not that good, but outdoor photographs are quite well. The LED flash too is quite bright. Moving on, let's talk about the display. You can see that there is almost no distortion while moving through different angles. The display is always bright and displays natural colors. The display is quite sharp as well and has a very good touch response. Now let's talk a bit about the software. You can see the model number C1904 running Android 4.1.2 with a new build number which was updated recently through an OTA update. As you can see, the UI has been heavily customized from stock Android. It's the Xperia UI that Sony likes to call it. And it's a very handy feature which you see right here. You can apply wallpapers or select apps to be moved to different home screens from right here. Just like that. And you can come back to the home screen by tapping there. And similar to stock Android, you can also remove the icons very easily. This is another useful widget using which you can enable or disable various services. You can also do that from the notification bar up top. Now let's get into the multitasking menu. At the bottom, you have several apps, and on the right, you can open or close different apps that you have already opened. These are the small apps which overlay on top of all other apps. So you can use a calculator while using your browser or any other app as well. This is a notes application which is very easy to use and minimizes to a small icon on the right hand side. We can also add different apps which can be installed from the Play Store, like the browser pop-up app, which we can just add from right there. As you can see, it appeared. Now let's talk a bit about the app drawer. You can sort it alphabetically or according to most used or recently used. Sony installed a plethora of apps, but most of them are uninstallable, which can be installed from right here. Now let's get back into settings. Going into more, you can enable or disable NFC as well as Android Beam, using which you can throw files to other NFC enabled smartphones. Now let's get into display. You can change the entire theme of the device through here. Let's set a different theme. You can see the red glow below, and the entire theme of the device has changed as well. Going back into display, you also have the light effects, that is for the notifications. The defaults can be customized and you can set a different color for each of these notifications. Now let's get into storage. So you have a total of 2.05 GB available in which you can install your apps, and that's about it because you can't move apps to the SD card. So high-end gaming won't be a possibility on this smartphone if you don't want to uninstall each and every app that comes pre-installed. Now let's get into power management. Sony has included its own power management. Using the stamina mode, you can get more power from this device, and it usually lasts about 1 full day on a single charge. Now let's talk a bit about security. You have the option of using face unlock, which works quite well on this device. Since we are talking about security, Sony has also included its own app, Xperia Alert, using which you can remotely track your smartphone as well as remotely wipe it. Alright, now let's check the web browsing on the Sony Xperia M. We'll open up PhoneBunch.com. And it should open our mobile website first, which you can see right here. As you can see, kinetic scrolling is quite smooth on this device, and given that it has a dual-core processor, we expect no less. Now we are going to our desktop website. It has loaded fully now. You can see that the scrolling is flawless here as well, and pinch to zoom works quite well too. You can also see that the text is quite readable, even though this is just a 4-inch display. I'll just open up a post for you so that you can see more of the text. Here too you can see that pinch to zoom works great and the text is quite sharp. Moving on. Now let's get into the multimedia section. So this is Sony's album app, using which you can easily create slideshows using Sony's proprietary Sense Me technology. I'll just click on play and you will see a beautiful slideshow being created. The music too is added automatically. You can choose a different track if you want. The app automatically groups similar colored items as well. Continuing with the multimedia review, here is the headset that comes with the device. It has a silver pin. These are not in-ear style, but these are some of the best earphones we have used in recent time. It has a single button interface to end and receive calls. In our view, you would never have to use another pair of headset with this smartphone, even if you want to listen to music on this device. Now let's go ahead and play a music so that we can test the speakerphone of this device. The phone is glowing red because of the red album art. Now let's have a closer look at the speakerphone. The speakerphone is pretty loud and has a very clear sound and produces some bass tones as well. We also did a decibel test and it produced about 82 decibels at the loudest ringtone. Moving on, now we'll test out FM radio on this device. I'll just plug in the headset. Now we'll go into the FM radio app. Let me just switch on the radio app. So you can see it searched the channel pretty quickly. You have track ID, searchable channels, as well as setting the radio region in this default interface. Now we have shifted to the speakerphone. The volume during FM radio playback is significantly lower than while playing local music on the smartphone. We couldn't find a specific reason for this, and there was no solution for this as well. But it's not too low. Now we'll play a local video for you. This is a 720p video at 30 frames per second. You can see that the video playback is quite smooth. There are no drop frames and the color reproduction is natural as well. The phone can easily play 720p videos natively, but 1080p videos do require MX Player. Moving on, now we'll play an online video to see how streaming video works. This is the gaming review of the Sony Xperia M. Have a look.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first gaming review of the Sony Xperia M. Today we are going to play some low-end games to get a feel of how gameplay works on this device. First of all, we are going to start with Temple Run 2. Alright, so now let's begin.
Here too you can see that there are no frame rate issues while playing online video. The video is being played at 480p resolution.
You can see right here that there are no drop frames and there are no frame rate issues while playing this game.
You can see that the high quality mode is set on. Now let's talk a bit about the general performance of the device. You have seen that the benchmark scores are quite good for this device and it performs quite well in general app usage as well. The battery on this device lasts for about one entire day on a single charge with mixed usage including 2G internet, Wi-Fi. The phone does get a bit heated up from the top and photos taken under artificial light do have some artifacting. Then there's the main eyesore. You can't move apps to the SD card and you're limited by the internal storage. If this phone would have had move to SD option, it would have been the best offering in this price segment, easily beating the likes of Micromax and Carbon and also the Samsung Galaxy Core. Well, that's the full review. We'll be back with some more new phones. Till then, don't forget to subscribe and have a very nice day.